I'm doing a little experimenting today and thought y'all might like to join me. I don't know. I've got, these are just scraps of paper that I have, I'm not sure what to call it, dyed or printed, I guess, with alcohol inky paper towels. Okay, I've been playing a lot with alcohol inks and resin recently. I'm still kind of on that kick, and I use a lot of paper towels while I'm doing that to, you know, dab up and clean up, and I end up with piles of alcohol inky paper towels. Some of them are kind of cool, some of them are just, you know, but they're full of ink. And instead of throwing them away, of course, I've ironed them. And I keep them. They fit perfectly in a shoebox. And you can actually use them to, this is sort of like a mono printing deal, or it's like a stamp pad even. Alcohol ink stamp pad. I don't know what it is, what you call it, but it's fun, and I feel like I'm really getting a lot of good use out of my alcohol inks, because these are normally things that you might throw away. And I'm not throwing them away, I'm using them. So this is different scrap paper, mostly just computer paper. Some of it is some label, you know, sticker paper. And there's also some book pages in here that I super duper love. I don't know what this is from. Oh, Hamlet. Okay, yes, this was a volume on Shakespeare. Okay, please don't criticize me for butchering a Shakespeare book. I get this all the time, anytime I take apart a book and use it. And I think it's mostly from people who in other countries who don't really realize that here in the U.S., we have access to lots and lots of mass-produced books, really cheap, and you can get them for free, or nearly free, because people end up giving them away. Even libraries will sell them for 50 cents to get rid of them. They're widely available, so this is not a sacred Shakespeare text or anything. It's just a mass-produced, cheap book. I got a Goodwill. I'm repurposing, okay? So, having said that, these are some of the papers I'm using. The paper towels I'm using are all Viva. They're my favorite paper towel. I like them for crafting. I like them not just because they're thick and strong. They don't have like a quilted pattern in them. And you know, sometimes when you're using paper towels, especially if you're using it to dab paint or stuff, you get the print of the paper towel in whatever you're doing. And you may like that. I don't, because to me it looks like a paper towel. And I don't want my paper towel art to look like a paper towel. So I love these. This is what I'm using, and I don't know if you can use other brands. I don't know if you can just use some kind of fabric or felt. I don't know. You try it and let me know how it works. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I've pulled out some paper towels that are full of alcohol ink, all different brands. And for this, actually, I found that the muddier they are, the better. So, mud is good. See, these two right here will probably do really good. Now, I'm just going to grab a couple of these paper towels, and here's two that I've already sprayed with 91% isopropyl alcohol. I spray it kind of generously, and that's okay, because you can get this cheap at the Walmarts. And these are already kind of good and muddy, and then when you spray them, they just get muddier, and that's good. And I just kind of, you know, let the alcohol soak in for a minute or two, because the more it soaks in, the more ink is going to be released, and the better your prints will be. So, do that, and then take whatever paper you want to print on. I am in need of painty book pages at this time. So I'm going to be printing a lot of painty book pages. And then just smush. And I smush it all around. And you know, white space, so I cover the whole thing. You can, of course, leave little artistic bits of white space if you want to. I don't want to. And then you get these awesome painty papers with like no effort from this thing that you would normally have probably thrown away. So while I'm printing with this one, I'm going to go ahead and spray a few more over here so that they can kind of be soaking up the alcohol. And we'll be ready to go when I get bored with this color or when I leach all the color out of it, whichever comes first. And I don't care about them bleeding on top of each other because muddy doesn't matter in this situation. Now, let's do another one. These will kind of lighten up as they dry. So if you print it and you're like, ooh, that's dark and muddy, it will probably lighten up beautifully. If you print it and you're like, ooh, it's so light and pastel, I can barely see it, then when it dries, you're probably not going to be able to see anything. So yeah, keep that in mind. And then just see what you get. I like the dark around the edges on this. That looks kind of accidentally cool. Add more alcohol if you need. Flip them over if you want. Add a different one on top if you want. Just kind of have fun with it. See what happens. You can also drop more ink on here if you want. If you've got one that's just particularly muddy and not even attractive mud, then, you know, add a few more drops of ink in a pretty color and spray it with alcohol so that it smushes around good, and then go to town. When you're through with these, sometimes they're just, you know, you've just leached out all the goodness and they need to be put out of their misery. Other times they'll end up pretty cool and you can use them for something, collage or whatever. Like this one. This one was pretty, and then I added some more yellow on it because it had a lot of white space and I wanted to cover it up. So I did it with yellow. So let's spray it, and then I'm going to set it aside to soak and maybe pull out some of these ones. Let's see. Ooh, this one's got a lot in it because see, look, it goobered on the table. Goobering over here too. Okay, now they're letting go of their ink. Yeah, make sure you wear gloves because, you know, alcohol ink. It's permanent. It will stain you. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm just loving this for quick, painty papers. So, yeah, it does require some work beforehand. You know, you have to produce the paper towels to get this going. But like I said, you can do it on purpose. You can just lay some out and drop some inks on there if you want. Heck, why not? So, yeah, really, it's just more of the same over and over again. I don't think you really need to sit here and watch me do each one. Although it is kind of fun to, you know, peel them off and then you get the ooh effect. Or I do anyway. Maybe I'm the only one who's going ooh, but I really am going ooh because it's just cool. And you just never know what you're going to get. And I love those kinds of random things. Look at that. And it just keeps on giving. Okay, let's go back to this one because it was soaking, right? Let's see. It'll do something a little bit more now. I think these were all light colors in there to begin with, so it's pulling them up fairly light. Oh, that's much better. Oh, look. Look, it looks like clouds or something. I love it so much. Y'all, this is day 2 without air conditioning here at the greenhouse. Our little unit, I don't know what happened to it. It just quit working. No, I do know what happened to it. It froze up. That's what the guy said. Dude's been out here, but he said there's not much he can do until it unfreezes because it was like solid ice up in there. So we had to leave it off all day yesterday. And of course, yesterday was Saturday, which means today's Sunday, which means that we are out of luck until tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow they'll get back out here and get it running for us, but it is hot. It's like around 90 today, which is not too bad, but we've got humidity happening, which makes it feel like, you know, 140, 142, something like that. And with my menopause hot flashes, it's even more warm. I was going to say hellish. Let's just say warm. Do this one again. Okay, these are kind of all starting to look the same now. So I think I'll maybe do one more page. Not on that one, I want this one. This is just computer paper. Beautiful. So, okay, I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 painty paper towels, and they're still going strong. There's lots of ink in there, and I've got all these pages. There's 20 plus pages in here, different shade, different colors, different intensities, all very awesome. So there's you an idea of what to do with your leftover alcohol inky paper towels. Am I the only one who has these, really? I have a feeling I might be, I don't know. But if you don't have any, you know, just make some. It's okay. Give this a try, because this is fun. I'm just going to keep doing this. These are, I think these have kind of, they're starting to kind of blend out. I'm getting the same colors over and over again. They're kind of muddying. So I'm going to get me a new stack and keep going because it's fun. Okay, so I was getting ready to clean up because I thought I was through with the video. And then I walked by my art room door and I spied these fabric strips. I have these hanging from a hook on the door. And it's just old, you know, thrift store junk fabric that I've torn into strips, because this is what Rosemary Morris does. And, you know, if I do exactly what she does, then my art will be awesome like hers, right? That's my theory. So I thought I'll just grab some of these strips and do this and see what happens. And it's kind of cool. Okay, this is some silk. And you can lay it on here, and it's just like almost instant tie-dyed. I know that may be super hard to see. I've got some up here that are drying. There's some silk, there's some cotton. These are bed sheets that had a weird pattern on them. Let me see, let me find one of those and do it. Okay. I got these at a thrift store. It was a great big king size sheet, and I've used it just for, you know, when I need a piece of a sheet or something. So here it is. I think we've got super glare happening. Okay, I'll try to fix that in editing. Okay, so, and it almost, see the pattern printed on the sheet? It looks like a resist. Isn't that cool? Like, who knew? See? It's kind of weird. You can barely see it until you start putting the ink on it. And then it's like, oh, a resist. Who knew? So then you just get this awesome piece of like bohemian dyed fabric. So yeah, I just thought I was going to clean up and call it a day, but now I have to sit here and keep doing this for the rest of the day because cool stuff is happening on paper, on fabric. I don't even know what else. Nothing is safe at this point. Now, go tear up your house and find stuff to smush into painty paper towels, because I guarantee it's kind of cathartic and interesting and fun, and it will distract you from the fact that you have no air conditioning, in my case. Yeah, that's all. The end.